Leadership and project management. How are they connected? Project managers have to coordinate contributions coming from different resources. We saw that this leads to organizational issues that can be managed using different approaches, ranging from functional organizations to task forces. In the large majority of cases, though, companies will select the matrix organization to combine the effectiveness of task forces with the efficiency of a functional organization. The main drawback of matrix organizations is the violation of the command unicity law, because resources report to two managers, the functional manager and the project manager. This is probably the most relevant challenge that project managers have to overcome and complain about. We want to investigate it in order to size its impacts on the project and to identify possible levers to manage it. First of all, what is the problem? In a matrix organization, resources respond to two different managers, and as far as they agree in deciding how to use the resources, there should be no problem. The two managers, though, have very different objectives. The project manager targets the scope, time, and cost of a unique initiative. In contrast, the functional manager sees the project as one of the activities to be supported, along with many other processes and projects. It is not surprising that the two managers can assign different priorities to the project activities. In these cases, the resources might find it challenging to have two managers asking for contrasting contributions. When this happens, the team members might be required to choose autonomously whom to grant the priority to. And this dynamic is exactly what project managers complain about. Project managers and functional leaders do not have the same level of power. Functional leaders play an official role in the resource career, participate to the final year compensation assessment, are the ultimate decision maker for holiday plans, and so on. Said differently, functional managers are invested with authority over the resources. As a result, project managers have a hard time coordinating resources that respond to many different managers with different priorities. When asked to propose a solution to this problem, project managers provide a logical but wrong answer: to increase their authority level to even the situation. This means to have the power to influence the career of the resources, their compensations, and their schedule. This answer would lead to critical tensions within the organization. The authority exists already and is represented by functional managers. Increasing the project manager's authority would only exacerbate the duality of power and position the resources in an even harder place, risking to be the objective of a power war between managers. Instead, the answer project managers should look for goes under the name of authoritativeness, or authority by merit. It is possible to manage somebody without having a real power over them? The answer is certainly yes. We all have experience of people who we worked with and followed, even if they had no actual power over us. How did they do? We generally call it leadership, but it is important to explore it further to understand where it comes from. First of all, we trust and follow project managers who proved to be competent on the topic. If you are an expert in the field and can go into the details of the project activities, the team will probably recognize you as competent, which will help you to be followed. Besides this technical competency, there is also a managerial one. How good are you in planning, controlling, delegating, and integrating different results? Identifying the tasks, splitting the responsibilities, and coordinating the efforts are crucial competencies for a project manager. Besides these hard competencies, we also need to include more soft and behavioral competencies to increase our level of authoritativeness. How good are we at communicating and facing challenging conversations? How good are we in building a team and bring it to a performance phase? How good are we in supporting our resources when they are out of their comfort zones? All these competencies increase the level of authoritativeness, and all of them share an essential characteristic if compared with the authority items. Authority is an exogenous variable. It can be given to managers. For example, I can give Jack the authority to hire and fire, or Caroline the authority to manage a 6 zeros budget. Unfortunately, though, I cannot provide them with communication styles or credibility. Authoritativeness is an endogenous variable. It cannot be given. One must gain it on the field. People will recognize you as good at managing people only after you manage them, or good at solving challenging conversations only after having managed some of them. These make authoritativeness the most important characteristic of a project manager. Project managers should carefully nurture it and make it grow as it will measure their success. How do we select the right project manager for a challenging project? We must be sure that she will be able to manage it, which means that the sum of authoritativeness possessed and authority provided will give her enough influence to be successful. Compensating the lack of authoritativeness by increasing authority might be dangerous, though. An inexpert or even worse, poor-performing project manager with a lot of authority will be not trusted by the team. She will be feared instead. In the organizations, the authority should follow the authoritativeness. First, you prove to be able to manage without power, then you are given that power you lacked. In this way, project after project, project managers learn how to manage more and more complex projects. This is the real meaning of what we call leadership without authority. Power is a tricky variable for project managers. They need it, but should try to never use it. Using the authority is an implicit admission that their authoritativeness, the most important and valuable asset, is not good enough to manage the project. If a project manager escalates over a resource who does not collaborate by talking with her functional manager, is asking somebody to solve a problem she cannot solve, implicitly admitting she is not good enough to manage this project alone. Unfortunately, this is still not fully recognized by many project managers in many organizations who have a muscular approach to resource management. The issue is clear, though. Every time you use authority, you are openly admitting your authoritativeness is not good enough.